All right, guys, welcome to Wide Awake News Radio. I am Charlie McGrath. It is the first day of May, Wednesday, May 5th, or May 1st, 5-1. Kristen, are you with me?
I am.
Oh, cool. I didn't know we hooked back up. I heard you giggle in the background, though, so I figured you must be there. Like I said, if it's the first day of May, if you're tuning in and you're not in the chat room and you want to join the folks in chat, wideawakenews.com, Wide Awake Microphone, that'll take you right in the chat room. If you want to watch me do this live, you can watch the Justin TV feed. The link for that is in the chat room as well. Lots going on. Great program for you tonight. We're going to have the very popular Kristen Megan back on tonight for the first hour, and then the second hour, Christina Consalo is going to be our guest, the rad chick, as we know her and love her here. She'll be our guest for the second hour. So get into the chat room and enjoy the good company that is currently in there right now. All right, I'm looking at, the song by Fun, of course, is, if you've ever seen the video, it starts out as the beginning of the Civil War, and they put the song lyrics to that scenario, and man, oh man, is that probably not too far off from the truth, at least according to a story I just was reading here before we went on the air. Armed revolution may soon be necessary. This is from the Economics Policy Journal. According to a recent Fairleigh Dickinson poll, nearly half of Republicans believe that we might need an armed revolution in the near future to protect our liberties, and a fifth of Democrats think the same thing. And I'll get this story, I'll put it into the chat room here. But, every single day, as we talk about on this program, there is more and more piling up onto the people of this country. And, I could say the world, but I'm gonna keep it focused on our country, the United States of America, tonight. More and more things piled up on us that is eventually going to lead to a breaking point, and that has been dominating my thought process for the last quite a, I was gonna say the last couple nights, because Eric and I talked about it, but you know what? It's really been on my mind virtually nonstop, especially since Sandy Hook, and then running into the Boston massacre, or the Boston Marathon bombing, and everything that's happened in periphery of these events, showing exactly what the game plan, what the agenda is going to be in mass crisis. So it's, again, as we talked about a little bit last night. And Kristen, Megan, let me bring you on now, because you can jump in anytime you want here on these topics. Kristen, Megan, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Great to have you back on. We'll give out where we can see your work and see your sites and that kind of thing in just a minute here. But everything that has been occurring in this period of time that has been used to shift all responsibility away from the criminals and put it onto the people. This period of time, and history is going to look at this window. They're going to look at this a lot like Germany was looked at pre-World War II, as this this period of time where the people could have stood up and done something, while this planned tyranny was happening before their eyes. It was soft tyranny and then turned into hard tyranny. While this was being contemplated and the evidence was there, the people could have stand up and done something. But once it got to the tipping point where you had complete, total tyrannical government, it was far, far too late. If you said something, you were just killed. And I can't help but think that history is going to look back at these last several years with the same description of this period of time, which is, how are the people so dumb? How were they so stupid to live in, the land, air quote, of the free, to watch their freedoms be shredded every single day, to have a few people, even in mainstream establishment roles, screaming, hey, things are not right. It's not right that they're using drones. It's not right that they lock down a city to catch one guy. It's not right that they're buying billions of rounds of ammunition. Things are not normal when you have fusion centers collecting data on everything, anything and everything somebody's saying. People that have been trying to warn of these tyrannical moves are looked down upon currently. I think history will play out that some of the people in independent media are going to be looked at as canaries in the coal mine, And unfortunately, a lot of them are going to be looked as martyrs because they're going, as this progresses, we're going to see an assault, a physical, not a verbal assault, not a monetary assault, a physical assault on the truth. Kristen, Megan, that's a lot of information I just threw at you right there.
Yeah.
I want to welcome you back, and I want everybody to know that Kristen is a complete trooper. Last time you were on here, you were sipping orange juice because you were ill, and you still gutted out an hour interview. Wait a minute, I think you gutted out a 2-hour interview last time you were on here, and this time you had just been blindsided in a car accident, and yet here you are. I appreciate your endurance.
Yes, and stand by. I'm having my audio is got a weird. I'm good now. I had something in the background. My daughter must have been playing games on this computer.
I know exactly what that's about, and I can hear you fine, just so you know.
Okay, good. I was hearing other voices, not like that, but yeah. So every time I come on your show, I'm sick, and today I'm injured, but I'm struggling through. So I'm not my normal spunky self, but you know what? I always have energy to talk about, current events with you. So.
Well, it sounds like you have plenty of pep in your voice, and are we not doing? We're not doing a video feed, so you'll just see me if you go to Justin TV, folks. And trust me, Kristen's a lot better to look at than I am, but you're going to get her still image there because of the. I'm assuming that's the case. Gary, you can let me know during the break, but I don't see any feed coming back of Kristen, just myself. So you'll just get me in Justin TV tonight. You heard my little description of where we're at. I mean, is history going to bear this out, do you think, as a time where the people were too engulfed in pop culture? I know I say that all the time, but are people were too enthralled by the gladiator games of the day to pay attention to the death and destruction of freedom?
Well, I feel like it could go one of two ways. I often think about the same thing. And, more people are worried about Kim Kardashian's baby bump than they are, Monsanto Act passing or our civil liberties being continued to be stripped away from us. And I often wonder the same thing. I saw like a meme on social media, and it showed like the checking your paperwork in Nazi Germany, and then it showed the Boston residents having to show their ID. So I often wonder, 40 years from now, will my child and her children look back and go, wow, these people were just, where were they? Where was their revolutionaries, Or we're going to be so conditioned to this, it can only get worse. And I tend to think that unless there is huge uprising in a civil manner, I think it's just going to get worse. Because those of us who do speak, in alternative media or veterans coming forward or politicians who actually are have the guts to come forward, we're just demonized. So the second we speak out, we're demonized.
Yeah.
So until we are taken as credible sources and people start listening, I do think that it's going to get worse. And I think I've told you once before, the people that are more worried about, celebrity gossip, those people will never fully understand something until it's directly affecting them. If the dollar collapses, to me, that's directly affecting them. So we'll just have to see, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you're right. We're going to have to see. And, the notion that people are going to stand up and rise up, I'm more and more bleak on that concept, on that notion, than I get more and more bleak as far as thinking that's going to be a real event. And it isn't by accident. I mean, of course, look, I can come on here every night and say the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't make it any less true. And it's kind of redundant, some people feel, that to hear it over and over again. But look, everything that is occurring, if you stand back and you take yourself out of the moment and you look at the nation and the direction as a whole, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Today, we got the break coming up here. I'll pick up on this theme on the backside of this break. I want to talk about some of the economic data that came out today and how this plays into the big trap for freedom, the trap for the people of this country. We'll be right back with Kristen, Megan, more Wide Awake News Radio. Hang tight. All right, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Kristen Megan is our guest tonight, and Meat Dog something or other. I don't know what the numbers you have behind your name now are, Meat Dog. I swear to God, you keep changing that thing. Put the question in the chat. not really relevant to the conversation, but I thought it was a good observation, which is why are all the Kristens beautiful in the world? And we tried to get through that conspiracy on the break, and we couldn't come up with a real answer other than it's just blind luck. So it is what it is. Kristen, Megan, tell us what. Yeah, I want to continue the story about the setup, the great setup, sucker punch. I'm not going to have time in this segment if you and I talk about this, so we'll save it to the next segment, or maybe start it and then continue it on. But tell us what's going on with you and where people can see your work. What are you doing? How you been? Give us the lowdown. It's been a couple months since you've been on.
Well, last time we talked, we were talking about. Sorry, give me just a second. Something's infiltrating my audio.
That's no problem. I can go on a little bit here about what I was. Are you good?
I'm good. Yeah, for right now. I got to figure this out the next break. But
okay.
After we talked last, I got involved in a lot of things regarding the chemtrails. And, I've been talking about what I knew as far as chemtrails in my time in the military for a long time. But the last show we did caught a lot of attention.
Absolutely. I think at this point it's over 10,000 views, and that's
it's like 18,000 now.
Is it 18,000? Yeah, and see that's incredible because that's an hour-long radio program, 43 minutes after Gary does all his fancy editing to it. But that's a lot of material for somebody to tune in, 18,000 people to tune into. So I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So that last show got me to some other people that have similar stories as me. So we networked, and I've been doing a lot of things. Some I can't talk about right now because they're either documentary or TV related. And you know how when you talk about a topic such as this, you want to put it out there before it can get edited. So when these things air, I will let you know. But I've been doing a lot. I'm involved as a contributor to multiple media sites. I still do a lot of writing and things like that. But the last couple months, my main priority has just been working to promote a lot of liberty-minded businesses and getting those people kind of on the forefront. So I've been really trying to help a lot of veterans land on their feet. As you know, I'm a huge advocate for, hey, if you get out of the military, I'll help you find a job. So I've been really busy. I mean, it's just too much to even mention. I started a new job after I left the federal government. So that's been keeping me busy, but basically just been being the loudmouth liberty enforcer everyone knows me as. I've been doing some speaking engagements and a lot of behind-the-scenes things to help promote awareness for a lot of things with some other whistleblowers who I hope are going to come forward soon. So,
yeah, that's excellent. I commend you for, and I kind of want to get into that a little bit. What are you doing to help promote employment for the guys coming back and gals coming back from combat or out of military service?
Well, whenever I had mentioned before on other interviews I've done that if people are struggling with I want to get out, I don't support the mission anymore, what do I do? I've been helping those people set up employment, giving them tips on, better ways to secure a job, looking at industries I know that are hiring. I look at their previous military employment, try to tie it up to a skill, and I have a friend who is a headhunter. So I've just kind of been using kind of some connections I have offline to help people because it's just people know there's so much more out there and you should have pride in your job. Like I love what I do now that I'm out of the military. So yeah, and then also I have some friends who are like, some are veterans, some are not, but it's liberty minded. There's actually a new app that was just developed and put out. It's called the GG app, called Get It, Got It. And what it is it's, people have heard of Snapchat. It's not the same as Snapchat. Basically, it's a messenger service, text, video, files, pictures. It's on a secure server, and the server is scrubbed daily. So whether you're doing something private, you're a celebrity, whatever you're doing, or you're someone like me, and I feel like people are paying attention to what I do, I can send files securely. And if forever someone wanted to subpoena my records to set me up for failure or something, they could never obtain this because the server is scrubbed and it's owned by liberty-minded people who don't want Big Brother infiltrating your phones. It's a good business tool. It's a good social tool. So again, it's called the GG app. Get it, got it. Check it out. You can go to gogg.com. It's a great messenger app. I use it more than even my regular text messaging now. So
it's give me the address again. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, it's gogg.com. GGGIGI.com. Again, it stands for Get It, Got It.
I get it. I got it.
Great. It's, you can sign up for a trial, or you can pay for the service for 1 year. It's like $10, or you can try it out for free. I love it. Honestly, I'm trying to get everyone to use it so I don't have to use my phone. The great part of it is, um, again, given what I've been sharing with some people and some producers, I don't want to send it through email. I don't want to send it through mail. This is a secure way for me to send files that I know no one can intercept.
Yeah, I certainly like the idea of that, especially, I was just thinking of a story we posted today about how, the new terrorist is going to be the person with the camera. I like the idea of being able to, if you want to send something, especially if it's catching crime in the act or catching brutality in the act, you can send it and then not have to worry about a backlash on you. So that's good
And of
information.
course, there's jokes about the app, whether people are into like adult texting, if you feel me. Whether it's a personal file, personal photo, whatever it is, job, social, you can have the message or file self-destruct. And if somebody tries to share a file, like if you sent me a picture of something private and I either took a snapshot of it, it would send me a message to let me know that you just took a snapshot of a picture I was trying to keep private. So again, it's a very secure app. I use it for all the files that I'm sharing, and I,
Great
I don't know
information.
if they do endorse this app, but I love it, and I like to support, any product that is presented by liberty-minded people
I
who,
like it. Yeah,
want to get out there. So.
hang tight. We'll be right back with Kristen Megan. Guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Kristen Megan is our guest, and Skype is dumping advertisements into her ear.
Yeah.
7 audio files we found out during the break that are open and running in her ear. So, Kristen, not only are you injured, not only was your knee re-injured and your car totaled, you are now having technical gremlins. So, I still appreciate you coming on here, and every time you're
No
here,
problem.
it's always a good. It gets a lot of good attention from the
We
YouTube
will
channel.
overcome. We got this.
Yeah, definitely. I do like. We were talking about Get It, Got It app, the secure app. Do you know these people that started this or what?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
and which are friends. So I remember, gosh, over a year ago, one of my friends was telling me, "What do you think about this type of app?" And at first, I was like, "What is he talking about?" And then he was in town recently and showed me the beta version, and it all made sense. I'm like, "This is amazing." And I run on the Android system, so it came out on the iPhone first, but now it's available on the Android platform, and I love it. You know why I love it? I'll give you another example. I recently broke my phone, um, and I can also use the GG app on my tablet, so people are able to text me even though my phone is busted. So my phone went flying out of the car in the accident. So actually, after we get off this, I have to go pick up my new one that came in.
Unbelievable, man. You're having a hard day. Well, I do like the idea of that exchanging information. I don't have to worry about it being tracked or traced, and it's erased. So, yeah, that's a good thing that you're doing. Try to promote your friend's app, and hopefully he has continued success in that before he's labeled a terrorist for
Yeah,
trying to,
exactly.
So. But it gets me back to that into the first segment where I'm talking about the condition that we're being set up for. Some of the economic data that came out today, and I know this is not the field you get into, but you pay attention to what's going on.
Hmm.
We're sitting here, and ADP comes out with this report. It's a lackluster performance, and we see a sell-off on the Dow. Again, meaningless to Main Street. That indicator long since stop being organic in nature. It is completely and totally synthetic, top to bottom. But the story coming out that I grabbed onto was Bernanke saying that what he's going to do is continue pumping up the system. We are now living in an economy that is more controlled than any economy in the history of this planet. And I'm not trying to be exaggeratory here. This is a fact. We are controlling it from top to bottom. You'd literally have to go to somewhere like North Korea to find such a controlled economy. And this leads to something. This leads to a point in time in our future where this command and control system from on high of this economy will be used as a weapon against the people. And, we pretend we're in recovery. We pretend we're seeing green shoots sprout up. Well, the truth is we're not. We're not. We're seeing the effects of borrowing money that we don't have. We see the effects of a private central bank buying failure from other banks, a lot of them that end up owning or have a stake ownership in that central bank. We see them committing $83 billion per month. Every 30 days, they're spending $83 million to buy that failure in order to keep a market indicator up and to keep this illusion of recovery going. So over $1 trillion a year being tacked on to our cluster performance. We see a sell-off. Wow! Now I'm hearing wicked feedback, Kristen. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll just keep running on then. So with the Fed dumping $83 billion every single month into purchasing in our name, eventually this ends up being part of our sovereign debt. This tool, this massive tool, this massive weapon is just waiting there every single month, growing and growing and growing to where it's an atomic, it's a nuclear weapon of mass destruction when they decide to unleash this economic terror tactic. And it is going to be devastating. We could sit here and look at the green shoots of, this company's up so many percent, this sector's up so many percent. But the reality of it is, the second that the populace decides that they're going to challenge the status quo, that they're going to challenge the destruction of freedom, they can flip a switch and it is instantly over. 50 million people are sitting here, on food stamps tonight, nearly 50 million. And the notion that we are in recovery, that fantasy can be nothing more than a wisp of smoke if they decide to shut off the printing presses. And even if they don't, there will come a day of reckoning when all that purchasing, all that borrowing from our future is going to hit like a ton of bricks. Kristen, I don't know what you want to comment on that, if any, but
I understand that everyone is into the whole U.S. monetary policy, but it's so easy to see what is causing all of the issues with our finances in this country. And the fact that people just demand more from the government, it is such an atrocity. And the fact that our government wants to continue to trick the people into thinking that raising taxes is a way to fix it. It's, to me, I'm no economist, but I pay attention to what's going on. And I can figure out what the driving force is behind this teardown of our monetary system. And my daughter can explain inflation. She's 9, This whole, like you said, it's a ticking time bomb. And everyone, you've got gold, you got silver, you've got the Bitcoin. People are confused on what to do, but I don't think Cyprus was just a fluke. I think it was a testing ground for what one day is going to hit us. And I think it aligns with the whole taking our guns thing, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I think your opinion's very, very valid. And I think that, there's two schools of thought. There's two schools of thought there, Kristen. One is it's a direct assault on the Second Amendment, and they want to come and take all these guns. Some people truly believe that, and I guess I don't know where I come out on this argument. There's a very, very legitimate theory, which is they don't want to take anybody's guns because they know that when the proverbial what hits a fan, that it will be a nation ripping itself apart and people killing each other, and that's good for business. If you're in the tyrannical government business, it's good for them to be able to unleash some of their the weaponry they've amassed and stockpiled and are apparently ready to use. So I don't know. I mean, it certainly could be a catalyst. I remember when the Sandy Hook, when that incident occurred, and the first thing that came out of the president's mouth on a Sunday following that event is we're not doing enough for the children, and started talking about gun control. I immediately put out a video talking about this. This, without a doubt, could be the tipping point for people in this country to wake up and realize what is going on. Wake up and realize that billions of rounds are being purchased,
Yeah.
and all this build out's going to happen. And maybe that's true. This, like I said, this report I started the program with was how 44% or nearly 50% of the Republicans think it is going to be a hot war, a hot revolution. So I mean, maybe this is going to be the tipping point. One thing is for sure, though, Kristen, the future is certainly not what's being sold to the people through the mainstream.
Well, like I've always told people, is it's all about connecting the dots. You don't need a PhD or even a college degree. You have to be able to step back and start to connect the dots. It's like, I recently did a radio show with a buddy of mine, and he brought up the point of how if this was actually a crime being investigated, the defense would be saying, okay, well, you're doing this while trying to take away the right to do this. I mean, it's setting up. So it gets called a conspiracy.
Right.
But it's connecting the dots and asking yourself why. Why is this going on?
Yeah, and it's a matter of precedent. It's a matter of convincing the populace it's for their own good. But you're 100% correct. If you looked at this from an overview, you'd realize that things ain't right. As one guest famously said, things ain't right. That was Dex.
Things ain't right.
Things ain't right. Kristen Megan will be back with us in just a minute. Please hang tight. Welcome back to the final segment of this first hour with Kristen Megan on Wide Awake News Radio, the first day of May, Wednesday. Kristen, what's on your mind? I mean, I know your background, is biology, and you really you came to be known by me because of your work with exposing things that were going on with chemtrails with your firsthand experience. What do you drive? What activist force is driving you now? Is that the same or?
Whatever just makes me mad. No,
I know how that goes.
So, I work as an industrial hygienist and an environmental specialist. So my job is to protect people and the environment from human processes, your industry and other things. Right. So my big driving force due to my profession and having worked 12 years in the government, I'm tackling the contradictions in government. So people think I'm so involved with chemtrails because of what I had seen while I was in the military. But the biggest part of me following chemtrails is the public. This is such a global issue. The public is demanding answers. And I'm standing in as an environmental specialist saying, why isn't the EPA addressing this? Where are the citations for these people polluting the environment? So it's all these contradictions, whether it's the TSA and the contradictions related to their health exposures working around the ionizing radiation. I mean, anything that has to do with my field and how the government is not following their own rules, that's kind of what I'm active in. But I basically dabble in anything that's infringing upon our rights. I just always hope to inspire other people to get active. And I think I've done that because I have a lot of people now who are like, check into this. So I'm doing a lot of investigative journalism, actually, some stories that I'm working on. And I had to actually reset my website to get it rehosted elsewhere because it got hacked twice. So I don't think they like what I say. I'm not sure who they are, but somebody that cares enough to tear down my site. So
is it back up? Can we give out that address or?
Well, it's online right now. It's just not up to date. It's still sugardecoded.com. I just linked up with a nice web designer who's gonna make sure I have a little bit more secure hosting system and is gonna back it up for me because I'm no computer genius.
Well, that's good. Somebody reach out to you and is helping you with that. How's the battle with I remember a few times ago you were on. We were talking about an EPA official that actually that actually admitted or at least had a lot of the same questions with the chemtrails that you did and that we do. I mean, is there any new information out recently that is going in any direction to exposing some of these activities that are happening over our head every single day?
Again, this is one of those things that it's really behind the scenes, and as soon as I can talk about it, I will. But just know that what I do for a living, I stumble and interact with a lot of people, and sometimes when they talk, it like this this flag in my mind goes off of, oh, does this person know? So I actually just met a DoD geologist, a contractor who remediates soil and does a lot of environmental cleanup. So I've networked with a lot of people the last couple of months who are hopefully, it looks like they're all part of a TV thing that we're doing. Some people, are going to be disguised. I can't go into detail, but hopefully this show, regardless of what the outcome is, gets enough people to Google what geoengineering and chemtrails are, that other professionals can come forward and start going, wait a minute, okay, now some stuff's making sense. So yeah, definitely. After doing the last show with you, like I said, it caught the attention of some other people who are in the same spot I am, like wanting other professionals to come forward. We're not crazy. There's a lot of the establishment people that are actually trolls, the disinformation trolls, as I call them. They like to discredit you anyway. I mean, I've never been in the military. Apparently. So
Right.
it's just a lot's been going on. Again, and I hate to be so vague, but I don't want to compromise some things that are going on right now. I've done a lot of traveling to get this stuff executed, and I'm really looking forward to it getting in the mainstream. I'll just put it that way.
I know you can't really get too much into the details, but obviously it's going to have to do with chemtrails and people
Yes.
that have the pedigree to talk about it coming out
Hmm.
saying, this is real. Pay attention. Can you tell us anything as far as when you think a release date might be on
Summer.
something this summer? Okay, cool.
Yes. Yep.
That is cool. So we'll certainly work hard to get you back on to talk about that when you can
Yeah, and
elaborate a little bit.
as soon as I am allowed to promote it, I will, because I really want a lot of people to tune in.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. We want to get as much exposure on that as possible. As people listening to the program know that listen regularly, I recently, I came back. I went to China and I had to visit a factory over there, and I came back
The iPhone
and,
factory.
and no, it wasn't there wasn't people jumping off the roof, but I saw, their system is very much foreign, obviously, to us, and but the thing that hit me is apparently the air quality, right? The pollution regulation and their ability to just skirt any kind of environmental laws because they don't really have them
Yeah.
is detrimental to Japan because a lot of that stuff flies out into the yellow sea and then ends up making the people in Japan sick. But it really made me think of what a nation that is run by a collaboration between industry and government is all about. And and I don't know if the air quality is as horrific as it was when I was there all the time. In fact, people have told me sometimes it's not, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But the overall condition of humanity that I saw over there was a real case of where I think we're heading, which is you have a lot of people that have nothing, and you have very few people that have a lot,
Mhm.
and it's just a caste system that I'm afraid we're heading to on every level, economically, as far as our health goes. Those that have means will be able to acquire good, nourishing, healthy food. Those that don't are going to be, living on the dollar value meal at a local fast food joint. And so as far as people being exposed to what's happening, it's very, very important. I think also the realization of where we could possibly end up,
Yeah.
because that has to be a question in this community. Where are we going when a few control everything? It's a scary prospect. So I really appreciate you out there, risking your career and
Yeah,
maybe
and
more than that.
that's what people don't understand. Like I said, the last interview I did with you, a lot of people came out of the woodworks and tried to discredit me. And what people don't understand is I've known you for a while. I've been active in exposing things for a while. It just now I'm using my name and my face now that I left the government. And people don't realize I do. I put my reputation on the line. I put my name on the line. When I left the government, I was worried even finding a job. I don't want people to Google me and think I'm a nut. But
Right.
I I will continue to do what is allows me to keep my integrity, I will do that. Otherwise, if my job is to keep the people safe, I can't do that if I just turn my head and look the other way. So
No, no, I
hopefully people
agree.
get
And,
that.
I don't mean to talk over you. I was having a
Oh,
little problem with
I've got another audio thing. Hold on. Okay, we're
that's
good.
no problem. And I know what you mean because, you know, I've warned people that are even showing up and sitting in the chat room, you know, or if you're watching this on YouTube later, um, you know, if somebody would have said to me a couple of years ago that your action on the internet, be it innocuous as you may think, just by searching, going to sites like Wide Awake News or the rinse.com or Next News Network, going there seems like it's going to be just visiting it and you're going to move on. But everybody that wants to step outside. Look, and that's what it's about. Everybody that wants to step outside the status quo, and everybody wants to question the status quo, the line, the propaganda line that's being fed to you by controlled media. You are rapidly becoming a target, and industry, big industry is complicit in helping facilitate this
Mhm.
tracking of everything that we do. So, speaking out, Kristen, it is a dangerous thing, and I think it's going to become more dangerous going forward. No doubt about it.
I worry about that too. Trust me, if you only knew behind the scenes the type of threats and hate mail that I get, even from people I used to work with. I mean, the complete slanderous things that are said about me, for like a half a second, they get to me, and then I'm like, wait a minute, why am I stressing out about things that are not true? So I honestly, like, the fear and the threats just drive me because I figure the more I talk, the more I ignite the fire in other people to say, hey, look, I'm still here.
Well,
One
here's
person gets another person going, and it keeps going, and we're going to outnumber the sheep, so to speak.
That's exactly right, and I was going to say on that point that people are, as we keep moving forward, guys listening on Rinse or on YouTube or Next News, as we go forward, more and more people every single day question the status quo and they're looking for answers. And it is important, not just that Kristen's doing this or I'm doing this or other folks in independent media are doing this or whistleblowers. It is really important that we all, take, if we know the truth, I think it's our responsibility to try to
Exactly.
share that truth. And that doesn't mean you beat somebody to death with it, but you don't be afraid of the truth because, being afraid of the truth and buying into something you know is a lie is not only cowardice, it's damaging.
hmm And my whole thing I tell people is, don't be the laptop libertarian, like it doesn't cost money to just get out and educate people. We can all have opinions, and if you don't like something, get out and do something. Write an article, have someone review it. I mean, if you're not a good writer, if you have information or you are, somehow connected to something that needs to get out there, like for me, what I saw in the military, I had to talk about it. I couldn't not talk about it. And actually, what sickened me was recently someone from my old career field said that I didn't uphold my oath because I should have kept that, within our group. And I thought, I didn't uphold my oath to cover up erroneous acts for bad press. I upheld an oath of the Constitution. So,
Yeah, I was curious on how they would explain that oath.
yeah,
How do you violate the oath?
I don't know.
Because you're exposing lies and crimes. Yeah, that does makes no sense. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting. I'm excited for the momentum that you're gaining, and I wish you the best until we get you back on here. Hopefully,
Yeah,
we
hopefully I
actually.
will be 100%. No, no colds, no legs in a sling. We'll be good to go. So,
It'll be a first if that happens, but I'm looking
I
forward to
know,
it.
right? So,
Kristen, Megan, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to have you on here, and we'll get you on again next month.
thanks.
You betcha. Guys, stay tuned. We have Christina Consalo, a.k.a. the Rad Chick, joining us on the backside of this break. We'll be back.